Okay, so recapping where our mice left off last week, you are staying in Cherry Blossom and have a nice little cozy nook in the tree to live in. And you had a couple options this week that you were talking about, whether you wanted to explore the area around. You've heard rumor of a supposed abandoned rabbit den, as well as the fact that there are also rabbits living nearby, which means there may be an actual inhabited rabbit den as well. You also have the mystery inside of the thief that keeps robbing from, or thieves that keep robbing from the food pantry, but they cannot figure out why because the door is locked. And there's a guard and food is still disappearing. And then you also have, which you talked about, venturing a bit to the north and northeast to explore for mapping purposes, but you have discovered rats are present in the area, especially around Glitter Creek, as they call it.
Yeah, let's see. Jerry, I think Cherry Blossom Girl.
Yes.
So, you know, the thing is that while I don't want to delay, because we're trying to help Pathfind mice to get to New House, seems like it would be awfully dangerous to try to get to New House. And I would hate to leave the mice here in bad situation with the food. You know how that is. We've had our food ration for a while. So maybe we could at least take a look and see if we can figure out what's happening to their food.
Yeah, I got some ideas what could be happening. I figure like that's the first thing we try to tackle in this new day.
Yeah, I agree. You know, certainly we have to keep in mind that we need to try to get to New House as quickly as possible, but and who knows, maybe they'll help us on our journey.
Oh, and I don't know if you remember this as well, but I know there was some talk too about maybe convincing some mice to join you on your trip to help either carry stuff or help with fighting.
Yeah. I know Poppy is pretty tough, but no offense, Jeremy. But I'm no fighter.
Poppy's
I
tough when
don't
she has to be. She prefers to hide, but she will absolutely.
think any of us are fighters, to be honest. I think just our strength lies in numbers and just be able to get away quickly. It's the very least, like, we just need a bit more numbers. I think for hiring other mice, we probably need to save that for last after we finish exploring the area and helping out with tax, like when we actually try to head up to a new home. Because the other thing we could probably ask some help in is the abandoned rabbit burrows, but there is the rumor that it's haunted, and some of them might really believe that, so we might have a hard time trying to convince people to agree for that. But if we help them out and they say like, "Oh, hey, thanks for the tax," and we ask them to, "Hey, do you want to help us try to find new home and try to help set up a connection for our people to come up here?" They might feel more inclined to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. This might be the ideal first stop. Actually, come to think of it, this is obviously the ideal first stop for the mice of Greyhouse if they have to leave. Um, oh, that makes it all the more imperative that we try to set the groundwork for our friends to be able to come here. Yeah, because our arrangement with the owl, Volcox, is over. So, yeah, they should come here first. and then they'll help the mice of Greyhouse. This could be their first stop. We need to get this place ready for them. Okay, so I want to go take a look at where the guard is and see what's going on. What the
Okay, so we are going to go towards the downstairs, first floorish, and the door is still locked. There is a guard at the door. When you get closer, he eyes you up and down. Well, you are not from here. You must be the mice that Mr. Birch mentioned.
Hello. My name is Pearl, and these are my friends Jerry and Poppy, and we're from Greyhouse. What's your name?
Well, you see, my name is Cranberry. I know, it's a silly name, don't laugh, but it's a family name.
I don't laugh, and I'm like, I love that name. Maybe someday if I have a mouse, I'll call him Cranberry. I think that's a lovely name. I hope it catches on.
That would be a great honor. My mother was hoping for a girl, and, well, I'm not.
Oh.
But she kept the name.
He's not a girl. Well, still a lovely name. And I wouldn't laugh. I think you should be proud of your name. But anyways, Mr. Cranberry, it's nice to meet you. And we did speak to Mr. Burt, and I'm sure that you all have looked this place over many times over, but perhaps a fresh set of eyes, since we do come from a different place. We haven't seen it before. Could be a fresh set of eyes.
Yes, indeed. I will unlock the door for you. You will find another guard inside, and I will shut the door, but all you have to do is tap 3 times, and I shall open the door for you to come out. He can show you around the pantry and answer whatever questions. Oh, I should give you his name, too, and you can just tell him you're the mice Mr. Birch sent. He talked already with us. But Mr. Whiskers is the inside guard. And with that, he opens the door.
Is there anything peculiar about the outside of, or, you know, I suppose the obvious things? I'm thinking of physical security avenues. So, like, is it, there any cracks in the oak, or, I don't know, you know, is the
I was
floor
thinking if there's
uneven?
any type of like foliage, or because I see in the art there's a patch of flowers there, so I was thinking like if there's any type of like looks like there's things like that might be covering around the actual pantry itself.
Yeah, that's a good question, because they said that like it just was totally missing, right? Like, you know, I have mice that by the way, got in my house, and you can tell, like, because like bags were ruined and ripped and everything, and they're very messy thieves. But according to Mr. Burt, somebody just like stuff just disappeared. So yes, yeah, anything spoiled or knocked over or damaged, yeah.
The wall itself seems to be smooth out wood. It appears to be, if you pressure upon it, it's very strong. Someone obviously took the time to rub it down a little bit with stones to smooth it out so there wouldn't be slivers. The door seems to be very sturdy, a nice heavy door, prevent any bugs or pests getting in. The hinges seem good. There is indeed a lock on the door. And then looking inside, you see a flight of stairs going down. And the floor is a patchwork of stones and wood planks. There are shelves set up on the right side, going all the way to the ceiling, and the ceiling has apples and onion bulbs hanging from it, like the kind of wild onions that you would find. There's another shelf on the far wall, and that one seems to have dishes and jars of various things, like jam. And then on the floor, there's a few baskets and pots with cherry pits and dried cherries in it. And off to the right, there's a door that appears to be open at the time. You don't happen to see Mr. Whiskers, so there's a possibility he's through that door wherever it goes.
Oh. What do you think, Jerry? I suppose we should at least say hi to Mr. Whiskers.
Yeah, make ourselves known and, just try to get more of a feel for this place.
I go up to the door and I gently rap on it with my paw. Twice. Hello, Mr. Whiskers?
Oh, pardon me. Who are you? How did you get in? Oh, from your tire. You must be the mice Mr. Birch mentioned.
Can I see him? Like, in the...
Can you see Mr. Whiskers?
I'll look at the door. Can I see him?
Yeah, if you're looking through the door, he's in there and he looks frantic, really worried. And he is trying to write something down. And is looking at some shelves.
Another case of missing food today, Mr. Whiskers.
Oh dear. It appears so. I was on guard all last night, and I didn't leave the room, and I didn't see anyone. And we're missing 2 jars of cherry preserves and a whole basket of flour biscuits. And a wheel of cheese, which we just got with trade this year, and we were saving it for, our special celebration. But it's not here, and we paid top pip for that, I'll tell you, with the traders from up north. I don't know what we'll do. We keep losing food. That was our only wheel of cheese. I always look forward to that.
Well, we're here to help Mr. Whiskers, and we like to see if we can just break down the problem and see if we can find a solution for this and find out who's been stealing the food. So now, when the food was being stolen, was there a specific time where it's being stolen in the middle of the night during guard, or is it in the morning?
What time did it go missing? Yeah.
It can vary. None of us guards ever see anyone in the room. It's always the same thing. The torchlight flickers or sometimes goes out, and a couple of the guards say they may hear a soft shuffling sound, but then it goes missing. And the lamp, it uses sap. It's kind of like a candle lamp, and it flickers at times, and we have to keep lighting it during the night, and sometimes it does go out, and usually appears to be around then that stuff goes missing. But the problem is the door never opens, and the guard outside has not seen anyone. So whoever it is and whatever they are getting it from in here, it would appear.
Yeah. Okay. Can we see the lantern? Like, is the sconce nearby?
There's a lantern in both rooms. In this room, there is one along the wall, kind of in like a wall sconce. And then it's above the baskets where the potatoes are on the left side, coming down the stairs. And then there is one hanging from the ceiling in the little room in the back. If you go through the secondary door, where there's little tables, and that's where they keep their more specialized items, like the pickled fish and the wheel of cheese, both went missing from that room.
Have items mostly gone missing from this room or from both?
Usually it's just from the big room, the main room. But we have had on several occasions things go missing from the second room, which is a little more disturbing, and it has its own lock.
Wow. Um. Well, you said that you stay on watch all night. When do you trade the watch? When is your watch change?
Uh, well, our watch is usually we split it half the night, and uh, we trade out. I go out and stand at the door, and he comes in here, and we just sleep during the day. We're guard mice. Normally, we'd be stationed outside, but as it is right now, this is needed more.
Oh, so you're night watch for the
Yes.
the pantry. And you said that the food goes missing at differing times, sometimes during.
Hmm.
Oh, so
Sometimes during guard change, and sometimes it appears to be nearest we can figure is we've noticed things missing after either a lantern change where one goes out and we put another little bit of sap candle in, or if it flickers strangely, which it
okay.
does from time to time, but sometimes it's more noticeable than others.
I mean, I go over and I look at the lantern to see if there are any things added, like a wire or thread, or if you know, like if there's no mechanism that's being added to this, then it must be magic.
You look at the lantern and you don't see any strings or anything, but you do notice um, it appears to have a couple scuff marks on it.
Oh, oh, they're knocking it out. Okay. Well, this to me says that it must indeed be a thief. That it's not these night watchmen. It must be a thief because somebody's needing to put out the lights.
In that case, they would just have a different way of getting in throughout just the main doors themselves. So I'm willing to bet there's probably some type of hidden entrance or some secret way either in the walls or possibly in the ceiling of this place. If we poke around and move the furniture around, we could find something maybe.
Yeah, we should inspect the whole area um, for holes, um, creaky floorboards, separations between wall and floor. You know, should wrap around and see where it's hollow.
So are you going to check the ceiling and the floor?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Whiskers permits you to use the ladder, which they usually use for reaching top shelf or ceiling items, to check. The ceiling appears to be sound, and it gets apparently painstakingly rubbed smooth with whatever stone or whatnot that they use to try to remove splinters. The ceiling items are anchored in with little bits of metal or whatnot. But the ceiling itself seems to be intact.
And yeah,
Though
when
when
we
you're
tap,
up
it's
there,
not
there is
different.
the thought that it would also be a perfect spot to hide if you were able to manage to balance on top of a crabapple.
Why so?
They're big and round, and if the guard is standing directly under you, and you are holding on just so, he might not notice you.
There's either the better part of or a full crab apple here.
There's a string of them.
Oh,
It took multiple mice to get them up there, but there's a string of them across the ceiling, as well as a string of what are those? My brain just blanked. I'm gonna go with a string of some other type of berry. As for inspecting the floor, Mr. Whiskers informs you they put boards down on some of the places because the ground was rough and several mouse had tripped while bringing food in and kind of spilled the contents or shattered a glass of jam. So they put the boards down just to make it smoother. And they didn't think there was anything under the boards because, well, they've always been there.
Oh, well, let's challenge that assumption. And I point out to Jerry, I say, Jerry, look, when I do that, I get up on top of the crab apple and I poke my mouse head right up over it. I'm like, look, Jerry, if someone were hiding, you couldn't really see him here.
Right. So
My goodness, says Poppy, you really can hide. I can't see you.
So if they're not using any secret entrances, it could be they're just sneaking in while there's, like, as they mentioned before, that usually when their stuff disappears, like the change of the guard or something gets knocked off, or the lantern gets knocked off. So if there is no secret entrance, which I'm still betting there probably is, they're probably just sneaking in and just hiding, waiting for the right moment, taking it, hiding it till they have the moment to escape, then leaving when there's another change of the guard, essentially. So they're not just popping in, popping out. They're sneaking in, getting what they want, waiting just the right moment to sneak out before anyone notices that there's been an intrusion or such. So they're probably not here now, probably. But last night, they were probably here all night.
Well, Mr. Whisker said, be sneaking in, but they can't do it at the change of the guard, for we're both standing at the doorway when that happens. I go to the door and tap my rhythm, and he opens it, and then he lets me out, and then he comes in. And then I promptly shut and lock it.
Well, we should check under all these boards.
So you're able to check easily under most of the boards. Most of them are laying around openly in the floor to just cover spots. There's some that appear to be bottom shelved for different shelving units. And they have what appears to be baskets or whatnot on top of them.
So nothing under the floorboards, or under the boards that have been laid down on the
Nothing on the open floorboards.
Okay. And we check, of course, the small room, same way. Well, that only leaves the walls, and my thought is to actually try to see where there's differences in the wall. Tapping on, seeing where it's hollow.
Yeah, just keep knocking until we hear like a different sound, and then see if that sound maybe echoes back or something.
So how are you going to go about checking the walls? Are you just knocking on every wall as you walk around the room?
I'm sure it's like really laborious and awkward because I have to like squeeze.
Oh yeah, this is not like a quick thing. This is more like this is gonna take a couple hours from like it's a whole chore essentially.
I squeeze in between a couple of the remaining wheels of cheese and I get stuck while I'm trying to wrap the wall and Jerry has to pull me out by my feet and.
So if you're checking all of them thoroughly, I'm talking about thoroughly and getting stuck and whatnot, you do notice there is a wall that sounds a little unusual. It doesn't sound quite hollow, but it doesn't sound quite natural either.
Yeah.
It is the wall that is, so entering into the room, and there's the shelving off to the right. And down near where you've already checked the floorboards, and moved some baskets around, the wall there sounds a bit unusual, but you cannot find, it is perfectly smooth, doesn't appear to be a door, but it doesn't sound normal.
Well, I take out...
It's just a small gap of wall down by the floor.
Yeah, I take out my sword, and my threading needle, and I press it against the wall to see if it just goes through like gypsum, or like a thin know, something like
It you can tell from pushing on it that it is wood, but it seems to go into it a little easier than it should, considering what type of wood this tree is supposed to be.
I take it out and I try the same thing in a normal part of the wall.
It doesn't go in at all.
Okay. I say, Jerry, Poppy, take a look at this, and I just I showed them that.
Huh. How strange. It's almost as if it's made of a different kind of wood.
Yes, it's so very strange. Let's see here. You all have
There's
any?
no like indication or anything, whereas like it looks like a different load. It looks like the rest of the wall essentially, and it just looks like it fits naturally with the rest of the wood.
Mm-hmm. Whoever put this and made it look dead on like the rest of the wood, but it's not that kind of wood. They put a lot of time and effort into making it look like it belongs.
I tap until I find its border, and then I use the threading needle to cut it open.
So you're able to get it to kind of move a little bit with your threading needle, but it's almost like it's latched at the bottom.
Oh. I feel along the bottom for a latch.
It's latched from the other side.
Oh.
So, like, when you open it, it kind of, like, does the bow thing. Like, you can get your needle in it, but it's not wanting to come out because it has, on the inside.
Jerry, do you have any tools?
Let's see, what do I get? As he looks around, still got my net.
Because you're a fisher mouse.
I've got my net, got stones, got my needle,
Ah.
got a couple of rations.
Can I borrow one of those stones?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
I try to use the stone with the threading needle to crack open, what's the word I'm trying to say? To bust the latch. Trying to destroy
So, like,
the
trying
latch.
to bend it open and get a stone in there?
Yeah, like I try to find it, and then I get the stone, and I'm just trying to, like, destroy the latch.
So, you're not able to quite destroy the latch. However, you are able to, as you're working, you're able to smell some of the air on the other side, which doesn't smell fresh and warm and cozy like the rest of the tree. It's got like an earthy, musty, kind of dusty smell, like an old smell, like an abandoned, earthy place. But this tree, at least the parts you've seen, are all stone and wood.
Okay, two questions come to mind. I ask Whiskers. Mr. Whiskers, is there any other place that connects into this tree? Tunnel or anything like that?
Oh, well, connects into it from outside. I don't think so, though. Now that you mention it, there is the old dank basement down below, but nobody uses that. We guard patrol it every once in a while, but nobody lives down there. We had a couple floods, and it just wasn't worth it.
Is it earthen?
Oh, well, the floor is dirt, and the walls are, I think.
Okay.
We tried to build some stuff, but again, the flooding, and we just moved everything. It wasn't worth it trying to upkeep it, and I've never seen anyone down there.
Jerry, Poppy, I think that we need to go check out the basement.
Right, let's do that. And if we can't find anything there, my next idea is, instead of trying to carefully open the door, the thing is, since we already found it, my advice is, why don't we just get one of the guard mice and just try to bust it down and go venture forth if it doesn't look like it connects to where it needs to go.
Yeah.
Let's go check out the basement.
Mr. Whiskers, before you head out, says, let me know if you need anything. We can, if you need a light or a ladder or, I don't know, string or whatnot, because if you could solve this case, it would be worth it.
Oh, we could definitely use a string. Come to think of it.
He goes and he raps at the door on the outside 3 times, and it is answered by Cranberry, and he whispers something to him, and Cranberry calls off down the hall, and next thing you know, in comes, I'm trying to remember, was it Kick or Plum that you guys paid a pip to? I think that was Kick.
Kick, yeah.
Yeah, that was Kick. Kick comes running with a length of string.
Thanks, Kick. What would we do without you? And I loop it up in a farmer's carry, like Indiana Jones style, and put it across my body.
I know I'm not supposed to ask, but I heard the Greyhouse mentioned you're going to the basement. Can I come too?
Kick, no. And I look at everybody else.
As fun as that would be, Kick, it's probably not for the best. We don't know what's down there, and we don't know if we're going to find anything down there, so it might not be that much fun. But if we ever do find something, we'll be sure to let you know. But just in case, I think it's better for you to avoid the area until we're clear of it.
And besides that, Kick, we have an important mission for you.
So, what do I need to do?
There may be treachery afoot, Kick. We need you to... Can you be a mouse spy?
Oh, that sounds so cool.
I take a piece of rag and I create I'll draw it because I don't know what to call these things, like this, like that, eyes cut out turtle, like with the rag.
Oh, like a blindfold or a Yeah, I don't know what that's called either.
It's just called a mask, but that specific style I don't know what it's called, but it's technically a mask.
And I put that. And I'm like, here, wear this, and stay hidden. And we need you to not be seen and observe the guards. Now we trust, Mr. Whiskers, and Mr. Cranberry, of course, but we think there might be other skullduggery afoot. Skullduggery, Paul. And anyways, we also need you to watch this door behind us. Make sure somebody doesn't come in behind us.
Oh, so you mean I hide and make sure nobody goes in or out? Except for you guys, of course. You guys are fine.
Right.
Okay. So you go down the hall, down the stairs a bit, through another supply room, and there's a door there. And let's see if I can switch it out to, which one am I looking for? Let's try this one. There we go.
Oh, this is scary. I'm scared, Jerry.
So you go down, and it's dark and quiet, and the smell matches exactly what you smelled earlier. It just smells like dust and mustiness and just old air. Looking around, there's no traces mice have been here for a while. They say they've used it, but it's mostly tree roots and dirt.
Okay, so is this one linear space that goes on ahead of us?
When you first come, you go down like a little spiral stair, and you come to what looks like a tunnel. It doesn't appear to be very long, but it's hard to tell with your torchlight.
Yeah, I light one of my matchsticks, and
Uh,
then I ask Poppy, Jerry, I'm gonna try to draw and map some of these things.
oh,
Oh,
I trust you with that, Pearl. I tried drawing a map to this place here in Cherry Grove. It's not good. It's all just I got a couple of lines and some words. That's all I got. I looked at your maps like wow. So I trust you with a map, Pearl.
Oh, thanks.
who would have thought mice with such a cozy tree would have such a creepy place? She
I
kind of holds her paw on
agree.
top of her needle sword just in case. You walk about 3 mouse lengths into this tunnel, and it opens up, and it's not quite circular. There's spots where tree roots have grown through, and it's kind of shaped kind of like a squiggly circle, I guess you would say, like an octopus if you were to look down at it. Um, the tree roots cast kind of scary shadows. Poppy looks at Pearl. Oh, how do we tell where we are compared to upstairs? It all looks the same down here.
Don't worry, I have a compass and I'm mapping it. But watch my back with that sword.
Yeah, let's make sure we have our exits clear. So in that case, if we do need to leave, we can go ahead and head back up the way we came. Don't want to get trapped down here.
Alright, so I have a
I feel a
tunnel.
little better knowing nothing's going to come down the stairs behind us at least, but it's creepy down here.
So it's no change in elevation once we enter it, and 3 mouse lengths along a linear tunnel. And we see an octopus like thing of uh,
Yeah, let's see if I can draw.
roots.
Yeah, it's kind of like the room kind of looks like this, but you can't see all the nooks and crannies. Oops. And you've got the area where you guys came in, and then there's tree roots that are just sticking all the way through, and you can't see. I'm just going to draw a couple. You can't see very well behind them. It's just dark, and there's weird shadows with roots hanging from the ceiling.
Okay. So this is a somewhat circular space, about 3 mouse widths by 3 mouse widths, and otherwise
The tunnel it opens up once you get to the main room. But each little squid area, you notice it's like little side tunnels that dead end.
okay. All of them dead end. Okay, so there's just this open area and the roots and all of the little alcoves dead end.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no way further from here.
It does. It appears like the only way in and out of this room is through the path that you guys just took.
When I'm facing back wall with my back to where we came in, where's my compass pointed? So like,
Trying to think.
you know, like we came from the overgrown garden, right? And that was coming from the east and going west. So when we get to the tree, it's to the west. And then the entrance to the tree is, I don't know, you know, like what, north, like, because it'd be the left front. And so, and the reason I'm asking this.
So the I don't know if this would help. So the pantry,
Yeah.
up above, is on the west side of the tree, and when you come into this room and it cycles down, you're facing south.
Okay. Okay, so let's go to the western wall of this oblong thing and feel along the wall and the ceiling. Up above.
Okay, so you move to the western wall, and let's see, where did that go? There it is. All right. You don't find it. There's nothing stored down here. It's just dirt, but it does appear as if something has been walking here. And it would be unusual for a mouse guard to be walking around in one spot quite this much.
Can we make out the shape of the feet?
It appears you're not able to quite, but it appears to be possibly a mouse foot or something mouse foot size.
Okay. All right. So, and we've inspected the ceiling and the wall, and there doesn't seem to be anything irregular.
Are you in one of the little nooks, the corners?
Yeah, we're gonna check out the western side ones. So if there's 3 on that side, we'll start in the center and then try the northwest and southwest one.
Okay. So the earth along the wall does not look like it's been disturbed at all. And checking the floor there and the ceiling, it appears to be dirt. The footprints do lead from the corner towards, they seem like they've worn the floor between partway into the middle of the room, near the tree roots, back to the wall, and then back out.
So,
If I try to pull on the tree roots, does it look like they seem to be move at all, or does it seem like they're just fixed in place? Am I able to really move further?
Are you checking all the western side tree roots?
Yeah, check with the western side tree roots and try to slowly just try to go around what seems like the footprints are circulate the most. Try to see if I can find any tree roots that seem to be able to be moved around or not.
Most of the tree roots are slender and shake easily. Many don't come to the floor all the way. You do notice that one of the thicker tree roots, about the size of your head in circumference, seems to have some strange notches in it. And on the ground next to it, you find a dirty piece of paper that's kind of crumpled into the ground.
Am I able to go ahead and, once I pick up the paper, am I able to go ahead and read what's on it, or does it look like it, see what's able to read on it?
You can pick it up. Some of the list or the writing is obscured because it was pressed into the dirt. But it does appear to be very messy mouse writing. Someone should have paid better attention in school. On those lists is a couple items: 2 jars cherry preserves, 1 basket flour biscuits, 1 wheel aged cheese, and 2 bottles of dandelion wine. There's some numbers at the bottom and something else written, but you cannot make it out because it was smeared badly.
I'll just go ahead and let Pearl and Poppy know of this, and I hand the paper over to Pearl because I trust her with more of like the written word things better than I can. And I try to see if I can climb up with the root with the not just everything. I try to see if I can climb up it and see if there's anything further in the ceiling, because technically we're below the pantry right now with the so I'm thinking like this is probably either a meeting place for them before we go there with the thing, or it's part of the way they get inside the pantry. So I'm gonna climb up the root and see if there's any way where it looks like something could be digged out, or just feel around and see if there's any possible entrance to the root.
So Poppy looks at the list first off and goes, "Oh my, these are the items that were on that he mentioned were stolen, except for the wine. Maybe they ran out of time?" And then Jerry, as you climb the root, you notice that the cuts are just the perfect size for little mouse toes to climb up and give you a good grip, just the perfect depth. And as you're climbing up, you get to the spot where there appears to be a sideways root in the ceiling, and it serves as a ledge where there is a basket of cherry pits on the left side. And it is full of cherry pits, like someone keeps it regularly stocked. And then in front of you is a wood panel. It's obvious no one's taken the time to smooth out the back. And there are 2 metal latches in the base of the panel, and then the top has 2 metal hinges.
Alright, so I'm thinking this might not be the entrance, but this is definitely where they're storing their stolen food in that case.
No, that's the entrance, because if you just unlatch that, that should be the thing that you lift up, right?
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and see if I can unlatch it and see if it opens up to anywhere, if it looks like it. Sorry, I'm just having a hard time visualizing.
Unlatch it. You pull the 2 bottom latches up, and you notice someone's conveniently left a stick, too, off to the side. And you're able to prop it up, put the stick in, and you are underneath the shelving on the right side of the pantry, tucked between baskets and what looks to be a small barrel, but they are all conveniently empty, so they are easily moved out of the way. You are below the ledge, so the guard cannot see you unless you scamper out further in the room, and you have a clear shot to that lamp if you had something to shoot those seeds.
Alright, so I see all this, then I just scamper out and just call to Pearl, and it's just, guys, I think I found it. Come up here. I think I found where they're hiding their food and getting in.
Okay, I climb up, get up there, and I see that, and I'm like, oh no, I think we should try to get out of here quickly.
Before he whoa, they say he raids during the daytime. He just hit, so he should be back. Whoever it is didn't get the last item on their list.
Right. Maybe we should actually just stay here and douse our lamp, and then
Catch them in the action, see it as they do it.
What if we were able to get a guard to post at the room where they keep the supplies that we came in through?
Keep the supplies?
There, if you go to the tree, let's see if I can pull up the tree again. I'm not finding it. There we go. Come on. So the tree, I'm going to bring up, is if you look at the base of the tree, there's the pantry on the left side. You go up the stairs to the hallway, and then down the stairs, all the way down into where there looks like a hollowed root, they have a room that doesn't look like it's used all that much, where they keep supplies. And then if you continue through that door there, it leads down to the spiral staircase down to the basement. But no one guards that room because nothing's been taken, and really, who wants old baskets anyway?
Well, could post a guard, but I think it might tip off the thief. Ultimately, I think they're going to need to guard this properly. But
what if they find Kick? We left him up there.
Oh no, we need to go.
Yeah.
That was a mistake.
It turns out the safest place was the most dangerous place all along.
I scurry out and run back. Well, I wait because I have the torch, and otherwise I scurry back to try to get Kick.
And before, I just make sure, set down the thing and make sure everything's in place so it doesn't look too suspicious, like someone's been here and just revealed everything and just forgot, so I make sure everything's back to where it was before when I found it.
Poppy's looking at the paper in her hand. Do you think we should bring this to the guard for proof, or should we leave it here in case they realize they missed it?
And you said that it's grammatically really crappy.
Yeah, they definitely need to go back to mouse school. It's a mess. It contains 3 of the items that were stolen and 1 that wasn't. And then the bottom is just smudged out. You think there might be some numbers and some other stuff down there, but it is so dirty.
I have a quill and ink, and I take my pouch and I try to scribble to replicate both the hand style and the numbers. have that.
So you're copying the note and using a similar, like trying to copy their font down.
Yeah, and the numbers.
Okay. A good idea. I didn't think of that.
Then yeah, maybe we should leave it.
So Poppy crumples it back up and then sticks it on the ground and smushes it in with her foot so that it looks like it was there. And then she starts to head back towards the door.
So first off, we're getting kick. Second off, we're presenting this, I'm assuming, to the guards, and I assume we're just going to lay a trap for the thieves and see if we can catch them in the act.
Probably will the guards will probably also get Mr. Birch involved because he's in charge. Let's see. So you get back out and shut the door. Oh, there we go. And you are back in the tree. So you go through the room, and you go back up the stairs, and there's Kick waiting, and you kind of jump when you open the door. It's like, ah! Oh, it's you guys. I wasn't scared. I was very brave.
Yes, you were.
And nobody came in. Nobody even walked by.
Huh. You know, and I look back to everybody else, and I look to Kick, and then I say, we really didn't find anything at all. I think that was a waste of time.
Well, that's okay. I get to tell my friends I was a spy on a secret mission, but I can't tell them what it is, because then it wouldn't be secret.
And that wouldn't, yeah.
They'll think I'm so cool.
That's true.
And you have the cover as being the ambassador to Cherry Blossom. So don't worry, you have that front for you, Kick. And oh, I haven't forgotten I forgot that badge I said I was gonna have, the little ambassador badge. Don't worry, I'm making sure that's getting done for you.
And he takes his mask off and he's looking at it in his hands. Do I get to keep the mask?
Yeah, definitely. But, you know.
Sure, but don't tell anyone.
Don't tell
that's
anyone.
Your secret mask.
Secret mask.
Awesome. And he ties it back on and then runs back up to the corridor where the young mice play because he wants to. So he was a spy.
I take the pouch and I turn to everybody and I say, hey everybody, before we go and talk to the guards, wondering if maybe they have a mouse school here. We could take a look at some of the papers.
Well, do you think they could be the children who are stealing the food?
That'd be a place to start. Because
Possibility, either that or maybe if they do have a school, maybe a teacher remembers a mouse who had terrible handwriting. Handwriting this atrocious, someone's bound to remember it.
Unfortunately, I think at this point, we know how they steal it, but if we reveal anything else, we might be talking to the thief. And I hate that that's the case, but someone's the thief.
So we know it's probably not the guards, because, well, they can't do that and go down to the base, could they?
Not sure. But
I'm still holding the possibility that one of them might be in on it, but again, I have nothing to go off of. That's just suspicion. So at the very least, let's go with Pearl's idea of checking out the mouse school and see if there are any teachers who remember any students with bad handwriting. At least narrow down who could possibly be before we take any sort of action.
right.
Okay, so your next course of action is finding the school?
Yeah, snooping around. Maybe we could go back to Awesome and ask her where where they learn their letters at.
It's reasonable. So, oh, I forgot to track watches. We're just going to say half a day, and it's lunchtime. So you go up the stairs, and Miss Blossom is scurrying about getting everyone's food, and so she's standing there and says, "Oh, hey, are you here for lunch, or is there anything I can do for you?"
Oh, wow, lunch would be amazing. Well, actually, we were trying to help around a bit, and we were wondering if is there like a place where the little mice learn their letters here?
Oh, bless your heart. Yes, there is. Why, I'm trying to remember which floor it's on. I do believe it's one floor up. It's a little class. Only half a day, but it's taught by, I believe, Miss Fernberry teaches the class. Um, it's just one class. We don't have enough young mice to make different classes yet, so she gets young mice through older mice. But she's a great teacher, and I doubt she'd turn down anything.
Excellent.
Why,
Well,
she just finished class because it was morning and all the young mice are coming up. So if you scurry up, you might be able to catch her as she's still finishing up and maybe grading things. She's usually the last one down for lunch.
Oh, thank you for the information, Miss Blossom. Let's go ahead and meet her, and maybe when she comes down, we can all have a nice lunch before we continue with our duties and investigation. Then.
oh, that would be nice. Yeah, let's go up
The
there and.
stomach grumbles, and hopefully
no.
it won't take too long. It smells good.
What is it that's cooking? What does it smell like?
It's got a very nutty berry smell.
Yeah, I'm not tired of the berries yet. Not tired of them yet. This place smell like what is that candle place where it just smells like berries all the time? Overwhelming berry smell.
Oh,
What's
like
that?
Bath and Body Works?
Overwhelming berry smell.
I think of it more like stepping into grandmother's kitchen who primarily cooks with berries.
Yeah, because things are cooking a lot and stuff, so it probably
She's
does
always
have that.
cooking.
Yeah.
Most of it is berries, but it may be like a spicy berry or a sweet berry or a nutty berry or like a pie berry.
The smell just wafts throughout the entire tree. The only place it doesn't go to is just the basement, because just heat rises and everything.
But yeah, I kind of picture it smelling like a grandmother's kitchen, but berry themed. So you go up the stairs, and you have to actually scurry out of the way against the wall a couple times because there's a couple of young mice that are just running down as fast as they can and not paying any heed to whoever's in the stairway between them and their food. And you get up, and to the left is the bed and breakfast. And then down the hall and to the right, you find a partially open door, and inside is a colorful room with bits of fabric and leaves, and it appears to be a place where the children are taught.
Jerry will go ahead and wrap his paw on the door, and he says, "Hello, is Miss Fernberry? Is she in today?"
A female mouse. She's bent over in the corner trying to pick something up. Pops her head up and looks. Oh yes. Do I have visitors?
Yes. Hello. I am Jerry, and this is Pearl and Poppy. We're visitors from a place far away, and we're doing a couple of favors for Mr. Birch, and we're wondering if we could ask you some questions about the class you have, and maybe about some of the teachings that are going on here.
Well, I'd be glad to answer your questions. I hope you don't mind me multitasking. I simply must get this done before lunch. What can I help you with? And while she's talking to you, she's trying to put something together. You can't tell what it's supposed to be, though.
Oh, I just hate to be a bother, so I'll just keep this short and sweet, essentially. So we were just wondering about, and I'm personally wondering this myself since I'm not particularly good at it. How are the children's writing? How well they? Do you know of any children who are like lacking in handwriting, or they just need better lessons and be able to write better?
Well, I do my best with handwriting. Some of the young ones, obviously, they can't. Yeah, it's just they don't know the letters. We do a handwriting class, if that's what you're asking. It's for our kids our little micelings who've learned their letters and they start practicing them. And then some of the older mice may receive special lessons if they are having difficulty, usually at the request of their parents, believe it or not.
Could we take a look at some of the work they've been doing?
Well, let me see if I can't find that folder. And she scurries across the room, and she's got a couple walnut shells on the wall, and they're just absolutely filled with paperwork. And she's just kind of shuffling through all these little scraps of paper.
Wow.
And pulls out a section of the walnut shell, brings it there, and flops it on the table. This appears to be all of the handwriting from our current class, both the older mice and the younger mice.
Wow.
Just don't go listing names to the mice because some of them might have their feelings hurt, or we have a few that are prone to bragging if they feel that they're better than the other mice.
This is really impressive. Have you ever thought about handling mouse insurance claims? No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. Don't do that, actually. We need you forming the young mouse minds. It's more important. Okay. I take the stack and I divide it into threes, and I put the pouch down in front of us, and I motion for everybody to flip through really fast and try to find whose handwriting this matches.
I imagine just Jerry is just having trouble trying to keep up because his handwriting is not as good as he sees Pearl just going through. It's like, huh? What? But he's trying to follow Pearl's pace and trying to like look at the handwriting, see if there's anything that looks similar to the note he found.
Poppy is going through hers, and she's a little distracted because some of them have normal writing, and then some of them try to. They're marked for needing more skills, but they try to make their letters look like flowers or butterflies. Creative, but difficult to read. And then there's some that are just. Did you read this? Does anybody read this? Do you want me to write this down, or do we set it to the side? I don't want to mess up her organizing.
Wait, did she find it?
She's found a couple that have bad writing, and she's asking you, do we want to write down the names of the kids that have bad writing, or do we want to... she's like, I don't want to mess up her paperwork if they're in order, so I don't want to just pull them out of the stack. Or do we compare each one to the note and then just make a list?
Because I think we left the... Oh, no, we have the copy of the... Okay, so... I think,
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we could do an on-the-spot comparison. If
this many mice, as a former teacher, I guarantee you half of these are going to be nigh unreadable.
Oh, no. Well...
You're going to have multiple ones in your stacks that are like, oh my word, this kid's going to be a doctor.
Oh, dear. Okay, well, I suppose just in general, as we're doing this and we're looking at it, you know, if this is folly, then we should take a different path, of which we have many. If this is possible, we should take it with us and beg forgiveness later, because this seems like an important thing. And lastly, if it is possible to try to make an on-the-spot judgment, we ought to try to narrow it down. We should take them with us. If we're like, oh my god, this looks the same, or these three look the same, then we should take them. Say, hey.
Maybe make a list of mice with terrible handwriting, and it'd be the start of a suspect list.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, we could do that.
I'm just having a hard time trying to justify to the school teacher, hey, you know all these students with just this terrible handwriting, Do you mind if we just take those, like, stack of that information and just for us to do the investigation? It's kind of hard for her trying to for justify that as opposed to.
This violates the Mouse Privacy Act of 1976.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I think the best, yeah, is just let's record the names we do get that look
Man,
like
we're
they have
such
that handwriting.
we're such mouse goons
You
right
mess up
now.
her files too much too, and
We're
you could
messing
end up
up their
getting filing duty in her
Goodness
class.
gracious. We deserve it. Well, no, but this is tough. Look, this is important. Their food is getting stolen, but yes, we don't want to mess up. She had an immaculate filing system, so yeah, I think that's right. Let's just write these names down. Have like do we have any kind of impressions? For example, I know that like there's older mice and then there's younger mice. Are there like oh my gosh, there could be some of the older mice, or is it only like, you know, a few, or you know, like is there an impression we're getting initially here?
And her
So
filing
the papers are labeled with their name.
Oh, we
and
wouldn't know.
then which
Yeah.
class they're in.
Okay.
So whether they're in her beginner, handwriting, intermediate, or advanced, or her remedial, which is you need to do this again. The remedial would be older mice who are having trouble. Chances are, I mean, it's always possible someone has a child accomplice, but chances are the beginners probably not.
Interesting.
Because that would be the youngest mice
Yeah.
that are in.
Right. Yeah, so it has to, yeah, right. Okay.
So
Yeah.
it does beg the question of, is it an adult or an older mouse, or do they have help
Right.
from someone who hasn't finished?
Okay, let's jot the names down and then give it back to her. So, thank you so much, and we appreciate the help. We're trying to help Mr. Burt with an important matter, and hopefully it'll all be clear very soon.
Well, I'm glad to be helping Mr. Birch. Goodness, knows he works even harder than I do. I hardly ever see him. But, glad to be of assistance. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Honestly, Mr. Fernberry, you have just been a great help. Again, just your immaculate, this filing system you have. And although I'm a bit busy myself, along with us trying to find a path for our new home, one of these days when we have more time, I might ask you for a remedial class for improve my own handwriting, since, like I said, I'm not that good at the writing of the words and such. But I think just for now is we've got what mission we can. I think just for now is if you're finishing everything, I think now would be a good time for us all to come down and enjoy lunch together. What would you say, everyone?
And I can
Sounds
teach
delightful.
cartography.
Oh, well, you
Earl's
know,
a
we are
nerd.
always open to visitor mice who come in to help, so, you know.
It's true, she makes very
Maybe
good
if
maps.
you're back, we could have you teach, or even involved in a geography class if you know of some areas we've not been to, or certain things the little mice have not been exposed to.
That's so exciting. Earl's a nerd, and she just like, yeah. Actually, she kind of like got a little bit sidetracked just looking at like, you know, papers, and she probably judged some of the mice because of, you know, their writing, and it's enough of a crime that they don't write well, actually. Earl probably.
In fact, might I recommend, I am usually very busy in this classroom, but there are certain cherry picker mice who are very familiar with the surrounding landscape because they see it from the treetops, and some of them have good memories and
Oh,
good
wow.
art skills. I can think of off the top of my head, there's, what's his name? Oh, I know. Brushy. She's a cherry picker, a younger one, but very good. And then there is Mr. Treenot, and he is also very good. Not so much with the eyesight anymore, but his memory is impeccable.
Well, I'm excited to talk to them. Maps.
Best time to catch them, they both still work up in the branches. Best time to catch them is at meals. Mr. Treenot never misses a meal. Trust me, he gets seconds.
Seconds.
Speaking of which, if you're hoping to get seconds or first, you'd better hurry down. I'm about done myself.
Oh no,
Would you like
Jerry.
to walk down together?
Yes, we should go at once. Yeah, and she hungry. Girl's hungry.
So she goes down and is immediately tugged on by a couple students who try to pull her over to their table to eat. So she goes and gets food and waves goodbye, and just like that, she's whisked away. Miss Blossom greets you and says, "Will you be eating lunch now?"
Oh yeah.
Yes,
We're
please.
famished.
Well, it'll be a pip each, and your portions are hot and ready. I just whipped up a second batch.
Well, it's a first for us, and we'll be just as happy to eat them. And Jerry will gladly go ahead and he'll go say, you know what, just for like everyone's help today, I'll just say for everyone's lunch, this will be on me for the group, so I'll pay for everyone's lunch here. So Jerry will go ahead and give 3 pips to Miss Blossom.
Wow, thank you, Jerry.
Oh, that's so sweet, Poppy said. And she comes back out, and she has a young mouse with her who is helping. She comes back out with little half hazelnut shells full of this amazing, savory smelling almond and cherry stew. And it's got chunks of nuts. Some are still crunchy and some are like nice and chewy and mixed in with the cherry juice. And these cherries have been like seasoned and then hung to dry so that they would absorb the flavors. And it's just this really savory soup. Almost as like eating meat if you didn't know it was a nut.
Okay.
So it's just Jerry's eating. He's like, oh, this is fascinating. Never had anything like. I didn't even know you could eat nuts like this. Oh, this is amazing, Miss Blossom.
Yeah. Yeah. Pearl has just got her mouth. She looks like a squirrel. It's like stuffed. Can't even talk.
And Miss Blossom looks at you and says, "Well, I am so glad you're enjoying this. Believe it or not, these nuts are not from here. Because they didn't get pinch checked. But rumor has it, our neighbors up north trade for them with another mouse group. I don't know the name of it. It's somewhere to the east, northeast. I don't know my geography that well. But anyhow, they ended up with a surplus of these, and I got a deal on them. Half price for almonds." And she scurries off.
Oh. Awesome. Okay. Let's see here. So it's definitely not like a nail shut case here. Based on the list of suspects. It would not be hard to try to catch them. We could go back down and we could just like wait in the alcove and hide. Set up an ambush.
But there's also the possibility where there might be more than one of them, and we might catch one of them, but there's still the rest of the group, possibly, so that might be a problem still later down the line.
Okay. I also want to ask, I want to take the... Actually, I want to start with this. I want to ask, before she runs off or I run back after her, Blossom, when she cooks her food, how does she get her ingredients? Does she just requisition them, or does she go and request them, or go get them herself from the pantry? How does she get the ingredients for the food?
You want to ask her right now?
Yeah, if she, like, I know she was about to run off.
Because you could probably flag her down. She's bringing little things of soup to table.
Okay. Yeah, I'd ask her that. Like, what do you do? Do you send somebody to get the food? How does it work? How do you, like, manage all this?
Well, Usually not, unless I absolutely need it at a certain stage of ripeness, or I need to do something with it first, like take down seasonings for the cherries and prepare them. Um, Usually I send somebody down, or I talk to sometimes Mr. Birch has a few mice that are willing to run a few errands here and there, and I just let him know, oh hey, I need this, and it just comes upstairs with this mouse or that mouse.
Um, has it been harder lately to get the supplies you need to blossom, or would you?
Overall, no. Usually, when I send down for an item, I'm able to get it. So it has been difficult, I suppose, in some ways because I've had to change menu because I planned for um, today to have this lovely, lovely dessert, and well, the cherry preserves is stolen, and now I have to make another batch in order to have enough. So I have to replan my menu. Usually, I find out from the guards, or my helper will come up and say, "Oh, by the way."
Let me see. Would you say that sometimes it's hard to bring a recipe together, or is it generally possible to pull off what you need to?
I can always pull something off, but
Is
it's
that so?
frustrating
It
when I have something in mind and now I don't have it.
you
Like that pickled fish. Oh,
um I take the list from the pouch and I say, uh, what do you suppose this dish would make?
hmm.
Or what do you suppose
Well, there's
these
lots of
ingredients would
things.
make?
Like cherry preserves and flour biscuits would make a lovely breakfast. Or you could use the biscuits and cheese for, um, but you know what I noticed strange about this list? And come to think of it, the other ingredients, they've already been processed. The pickled fish, for example, was already pickled and ready to use. Biscuits, not like they're stealing flour. It's almost like whoever's taking it doesn't actually want to do any of the cooking. So I'm doing work for stuff that nobody gets to eat. At least not here.
That is terribly frustrating. Just one last question, real quick. I know you're busy, but um, uh, this wine here. There's somebody that has a taste for mouse wine.
Oh, that wine. Oh, do tell me they don't plan to go after my wine. I worked hard on that. Why, we only have 5 bottles left. Usually it's for special meetings or special occasions for the grown-up mice. Or occasionally I'll use just a smidge in cooking, but it's a pain to make, but it tastes delicious.
Okay, and it's uh kept somewhere else. You don't have very many.
No, they're usually in the specialty room in the pantry.
Um, well, I appreciate that. We'll try to get to the bottom of it. Jerry, we have another clue. Mr. Brushy is plump. That he likes second helpings. I wonder if he came down. Cherry picker.
The cherry pickers would all be down, but as you're nearing the end of lunch, they would be going back up to the treetop.
I'd ask around to see if where Mr. Brushy is, and then I try to figure out if he's had second helpings, or if he's
Well,
only
he
had one
always
helping.
has second helping.
Always.
Sometimes he'll pay an extra pip for thirds. He is indeed already back out working.
Where do they keep their stuff? Like, do they have like
Some of the mice have rooms, and then some of them, like if there's, say, a single worker, may live in the bunk room or bunk with a couple other mice.
do
Unless you have a family residence, where it's like you and your family, it would be hard to hide this kind of food because other mice would know about it.
yeah.
Unless your whole group was in on it.
Just say we do a Full Metal Jacket and just open people's
Like
barrack
if you
stuff.
live in the
Like,
bunk,
what
in the
is
bunk
that?
room,
Is that
Right.
a jelly donut?
Oh yeah, that would just destroy any credibility we'd have with this place, and yeah,
Okay. Well, look, it's not going to be hard to set up a trap for this person or that person, or
Right.
if one person out of a group, nonetheless, I don't know, we've helped a lot. Like, we know where the breach in security is. That's pretty good. We just need to maybe, even if we do catch 1 of 10, heck, if it's 10 mice, they've got a serious problem anyway. Especially, and if they're from here, that already, I don't know. At a certain point, they're gonna have to carry the flag from that point on. But I don't know. I think we can set up like a mouse could hide in an alcove, down in the tunnel away from where the person climbs, like cover themselves in dirt so they can't be seen, wait, and then I don't know what else should we do, or maybe we should all just do that. Like, we should just hide down there, wait till we hear them climbing up, and then come up underneath it.
oh yeah, just surprise them from behind as they go out and do it, so they have to go out the door essentially.
Yeah. And that would be a lot harder for them to do, if not impossible, is the guard.
And if they did try to run, we'd see where they could run too, and we could try to track them down at the very least. So yeah.
Okay, so maybe we go and we cover ourselves in dirt, like a mouse hole, and just wait. And if they outsmart us, they outsmart us.
And it just probably means they got caught wind of the fact that
Right.
which in that case they're probably they got a lot of connections. They heard that fast, and that, or it's possibly they're not stealing. Like, are they stealing every single day, every single night? Like, I should probably have to guard this, but
Well,
because it's also possible, like, they decide, like, okay, the next following night or next following day, they're not going to steal anything, but they're going to wait, like, until something's processed again.
right, and
It's kind of been hit and miss. Maybe once a week.
Oh no.
Maybe every other week. Maybe twice a week. Though from the list, you are wondering when it'll be sooner than later, because they did miss something on the list. Does the list even matter?
That's a tough one.
So just an idea, if we can't get, like, a consistent, like, we'll be able to jump on them, what if we just show what we have to Mr. Birch, let him know on that, and that way the top authority can see what's going on, and he has more of an idea of at least how to prevent or how to, like, catch the people who are responsible for this. So that way, even if we can't personally be able to find anything, we can at least provide proof, like, hey, here's how they're doing it, here's what's going on. At least he sees that, hey, here's what we found, and here's the least, like, hey, if you want further, you can do. So it's still, like, we're providing help, as opposed to, like, we're still trying to find something when we're not able to really catch them in the act.
What if it's Mr. Birch? The long play. It was him all along. He's working for Mr. Olcox in the basement. Candlestick.
That is the longest con I ever seen, and I heard an owl play. It just...
Well, okay. But seriously, whatever we do, even if it's that or not, we probably can't keep poking around and asking everybody everything, or else they are going to find out. So we actually don't have much else left that we can do. We only have like one or two more cards to play, and then they might find out. So, yeah, we could go to Bert, or we could, if we did try to do a watch, like set up a watch and catch them, we would, I think, need to talk to the guards. Like, that's probably the one couple of people we have to confide in, because we'll be implicated. Like,
Well, you haven't talked to them yet either, so they still don't know about the trapdoor.
That's true too. Yeah, so
Unless one of them was in on it.
oof, suck.
But it's been both of them that it's happened to, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What do you think? You want to go talk to Mr. Burt?
I think right now there's too many like what ifs and maybes we're trying to focus on, and we're just trying to focus on what we do know. And what we do know is that they are using the basement to be able to sneak in and get the food. But the thing is, we don't know who it is specifically, as far as trying to snuff them out or trying to wait around for it. That's the one thing we don't have a good conclusion on. And the one thing is that we see that's not stolen from the list is the wine itself. So I advise just for tonight, we'll try to see if we can put up a watch and see if they come back for it later that night. If that's because, like I said, they didn't get that item, so maybe they're coming back for it later on. If that's not the case, we could try to confide this to Mr. Birch and try to come up with a plan with him. At very least, show that, hey, here's what we found, and we did set up a watch. We didn't find anything last night, but here's what we found to the head guy himself. And because either way with this, it's like we have to find with somebody about this, because we so either with the guards or Mr. Birch. I'm kind of leaning towards both more or less, but more to Mr. Birch, because at least with that way some action can be done about it, even if it's not us being able to really do anything.
Okay, so you're saying, for starters, that we go ahead and talk to the guards and set up this spring a trap based on the wine, and then at earliest opportunity, then we go straight from there to Mr. In case maybe we have a time frame for the wine. Or both. You're saying go to Mr. Birch first, and then go and set this up with the guards.
I would say probably both would be smarter in that case, because if it's possible the guards are in on it, they could also say like, oh hey, it's these guys all along, and they could switch it around essentially. So at least
So
that way
the
we could.
were occurring before you guys got there.
Alright.
Which is why Mr. Birch brought you in on it. Because he feels like you were the only ones he knows didn't do it.
Okay. Well, either way, yeah, let's go talk to Mr. Birch. Let's wait until dinner time. If it's a tremendously long wait, then perhaps we could talk to the guards, because we're going to need to work with them.
Right.
So I asked somebody, like, hey, where's Mr. Birch? Is he still at work? Or we can, is he around somewhere? Ask one of the nearby mice.
I do believe I saw him. He was heading up to have a conversation with Miss Blossom. Something about dinner tonight. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, let's let's go back to where Miss Blossom is and talk to Mr. Birch.
And just as you get up there, he's finishing up his conversation and is starting to head back up to the branches up top.
And Jerry will try to flag up. I was like, Mr. Birch, we have something to discuss.
Is it just something concerning your adventures, or about the favor I asked you?
It concerns the favor, and we did actually find something in the midst of our.
Oh, don't say now. I have a spot we can talk.
Of
I
course.
don't know who it is. Come this way. And he leads you through a little maze of hallways and opens a door to a room that appears to be a rather messy office. And invites you in and then shuts it from the inside and locks it. Okay, now we may talk. Most mice don't come down this far in the hallways.
So for one thing, we did find the location where the thieves are coming in from the pantry and stealing the food. It's passages we found in the basement where no one really ever uses it again. And we actually did find a note containing a list of the various ingredients that were stolen, with the exception of one they didn't seem to get.
Do you have this list?
We don't have the list itself. I believe Pearl has a copy of it.
Yes, we didn't want to take the list in case we might be able to find them, but I made a copy.
Smart mice. Was this all they had on the paper? Was these 4 items?
And some numbers, which I wrote here.
Ah. And he kind of looks down at it. Huh. Well, that is interesting. You may have found another clue without realizing it, but it is rather concerning given who it implies.
Oh.
These numbers down here, well, not all of them. Some of them I'm not sure what they're there for, but this particular section right here, and he kind of draws around it with his paw, is cherry picker shorthand. You see sometimes when passing messages in the trees and they carve on the branch, they don't feel like carving a full date for when a branch will be worked on or when it is done. So they just kind of have this shorthand, but it's only used by the cherry pickers. And it is only used by the cherry pickers, but the date is 2 days from now. Or 2 days from now. It is strange. I wonder if they are supposed to have everything by that date, or if this was the date it was supposed to have been done.
Mr. Birch, do you happen to have any papers that the cherry pickers ever have to complete? Something like a report? Or kind of some correspondence? I suppose maybe not, but is there anything like that that cherry pickers ever get about needing to do?
With this, he sighs dramatically and kind of puts a hand to his forehead, and he gestures to the room, which has mounds of paper on the desk.
Oh.
And hanging out of nutshells on the wall, and there's papers on the floor. And he says, yes, this is my office that I'm supposed to use for managing the cherry pickers, but it's been rough trying to manage security and cherry pickers, and I should probably hire someone else, but well, with theft, it kind of put that process to a stop.
Oh, Mr. Tree, or I'm sorry, Mrs. Fernberry is too important for this job. I'm sorry. Just a fact.
She's busy enough with the children as it is. We can't possibly burden
yeah,
with
I'm
like,
sorry.
oh, by the way, can you just take care of all these other mice with all these other different offices? Like, yeah, just take care of the whole tree. Just write everything down.
No. I'm sorry. And I like making maps. I don't... Come to think of it, that does sound very difficult. Well, anyways, I do hope you find a mouse that is good at papers. But, I hate that this is the case, Mr. Birch, but I think it all comes down to 2 mice then. If you can find any papers from one of these 2 mice, we'll know who it is, and we can maybe even find where this stuff is, to what ends it's going to.
Now that I know it is a cherry picker, I can see if I can rack my brain by tomorrow morning to think of some names. And as for the date, it is 2 days from now, which means either that will be the day the theft is committed, or that is the day that everything is to be finished by. So if there's an item left on that list, my guess is that it must be completed by that date.
Is it someone's birthday or a special holiday here?
Simply the day after tomorrow. It's kind of odd. Seems odd to have a deadline for your theft. If you're just stealing for yourself, why would you need to steal it by a certain day?
Right.
Because the other question we haven't necessarily been able to figure out exactly is how exactly are they storing all this food they're stealing? And it's possible with this date, it's a system they have in place to be able to store it away or transport it away from the tree, possibly, or to a more secure location.
Well, did you, when was it that you checked out the pantry? Was that this morning?
I believe so, yeah. It was this morning up until right before lunch, I think.
And did you find any food goods in the cave, in the basement?
Pits.
Yes.
Cherry pit. Odd. Though I suppose that would be common and easy to find. Especially for a cherry picker. So they're not storing the food in the basement. Which means they would have to take it out, but it would be very difficult to sneak it up the tree, especially past the night guard guarding the pantry itself. He would see the goods traveling by. Which makes me think that whoever is stealing it is taking it out of the tree. Ah, I know. And he shovels through some papers on his desk and finds a box. And he gives you this, it's a little box made out of twigs. And he says, now this may not be much help, but as you know, I am in charge of the guards. And I can't help you with your handwriting problem, but we have night guards. And there's a few that are positioned on the tree or in nooks where they can see but not be seen. And they do keep track of any mice found wandering after dark. Just in case someone goes missing, just in case, well, we don't have a curfew, but we encourage them to be inside, and this list might be a starter, and then you know the theft is supposed to occur in the next 2 days. Do you need any assistance from my guards or I?
So it's like it's a stack of like papers of people being tracked out at night.
Yeah, each one is a list of any mice that were seen outside the tree that night. And the night guards compile it, and so you'd find, so if you found last night's in his messy stack, you would know any mice that were outside of the tree last night, considering there was a theft last night.
Right. Okay, well let's go back to the night of the last theft. I'll just look at that real quick. Check this. Brush your green otter.
So on this list, you have basil crabapple. You have thistle. So you actually recall seeing earlier because she was an assistant to Miss Blossom and she helped serve soup. And you have fir cone, frond, and needles.
Are any of these cherry pickers?
Well, indeed, fir cone is a cherry picker. Though, come to think of it, he's not been doing a very good job. I've been hearing a lot of complaints on shift about him always grumbling and being late for shift, and he doesn't quite meet his quotas. Been meaning to have a talk with that mouse.
Sure. It's not him. Suppose there must be a thief. Well, Jerry, how do you suppose we should spring a trap? Should we just like, I don't know.
Because Mr. Birch's idea is probably correct, where it's the thing date that needs to be get done to, or it's like the date to do it. And I think it is like the day to get everything on the list at least, because if they have a lot of things, they can't get everything all one single night, so they have to take multiple trips possibly. So it's still probably a good idea to at least like put up a watch for tonight and then probably tomorrow night and see if we could try to catch them in the act possibly. But as far as involving any guards, I think just the guards that are posted outside the actual pantry themselves probably our best bet, since it might be possible one of them might be in on it, but it might also give us a bit of an edge, assistance to try and catch the thieves. As far as investigating further into the cherry pickers, that might be getting too close, and at that point, one of them might still be slightly paranoid. So I'd say just for now, for the other ones that we don't know about, so like Frond or Needle, for example, we can look more information from there. But I think for now, let's try to avoid directly investigating the cherry pickers, just in case if they feel like we're getting a little too close up the tree. And probably focus just on trying to catch them, more or less.
Well, if that's the case, they have to be night mice. Mr. Birch, possible that you could help us a little and very discreetly have someone trust put out some food for us, because we are going to need to be dirty mice and night mice the next 2 days. We're going to be mousy seals covered
Well,
in
I
dirt.
suppose I could. You may need to talk to Miss Blossom about that, but I would encourage you not to carry anything with you that smells too good. I'm sure she could find something rather plain.
Think of it. Yes, I do.
Unless you would rather hide somewhere more comfortable, come to think of it. After all, you know the thief has to get into that room. And all food is documented on the list, and it would be rather convenient to have an extra barrel added to the room.
Ah, yeah, that would be nice.
Oh.
Then you could wait down below and up above, and I could randomly have a guard maybe hanging out in the room with the extra baskets and bins and stuff. I know just the mouse that could do it. He could sit there quietly all night.
Nice.
That way you know that if anyone does try to hurt you, he will at least know someone passed through the room. And as far as the barrel, well, it's warm in there, and the guards would know you were there, so you just sit in there with maybe some biscuits on your head or something so they can't see you, and you could see through the cracks in the barrel, and if someone comes in, well, you would see who it was. Narrowing down their fur color would help quite a bit.
Yeah, let's do it. But either way,
Alright.
we're about to be nocturnal mice.
Oh, this is exciting. Back in our house, like, we were never allowed outside, so we had a strict curfew. We were just like, don't you dare go outside the other night, so we always had to be asleep by then. Now we get to stay up all night. Oh, this is exciting.
Oh, well, yes, like I mentioned, we don't have a curfew, though we do discourage going out the tree after dark. There are some... I cannot guarantee the safety of mice that choose to do so, so it is discouraged. But inside, well, stay up as much as you would like. Good luck, and good hunting.
Oh, heck, this isn't hunting. I'm just going fishing.
Fishing in a barrel. They call us Barrel Rider.
So he scribbles a short note and gives it to you to give to Miss Blossom.
Okay.
You can trust Miss Blossom. I don't think we have any reason to be suspicious of her, at the very least.
If I can't trust Miss Blossom, I give up on this place. You know what? If I can't trust Miss Blossom, I'm gonna turn coat and become one of the criminals, because she's worth it, and her pies are worth it. I'll join the criminals at that point if I see her. Like, Miss Blossom is like making this whole place good.
So you come out of his room. What's your next play?
Well, we'll go give the note to Miss Blossom discreetly, and then
She's probably still busy, but when she has like just a spare moment, like,
Scurrying around the kitchen and goes, "Oh, are you here to check into your room for the night?"
Miss Blossom, we won't be having rooms for a little. I gently
Oh dear, did I do something wrong?
hold out my palm with the note in it.
She takes it and looks at it for a second. Ah, I see. Well, I shall mark you down as in the rooms for tonight, but relax, you will not be charged. It will just look like you're there, if anyone asks. And then she scurries off to the pantry, and you hear her muttering, "Oh, this won't do." She comes out, and she's got 3 little leaves that were kind of little maple leaves that are kind of tied together by the fronds at the top, and gives you each one. Now, I must apologize for the quality of food. I would never serve that to anybody, but there are some rather flavorless sad almonds in there that were too soft to use in the soup the other night, and a couple biscuits that may be going on the edge of stale. They do not smell homey at all, but I do think they will pass for the food you need, and I promise you a free meal when you are done for having to put up with this quality of food.
This is incredibly kind, Miss Blossom, and this was a very common meal for me back in Greyhouse anyways.
Oh, I am so sorry.
even then, it's as long as it's made by you, it'll taste anything better than honestly than anyone else could have served better. So don't feel too bad. Honestly, this is still great food you're serving us, and we appreciate every meal you've ever given us during our stay here.
Oh, too kind, too kind. And like I said, if anyone asks you or me, you were here the whole night sleeping. I have you marked down on my list of resident mice. And with that, she goes back to wiping tables.
Yeah. Yeah, guess it's time to get cozy in some barrels.
Alright, so no one's gonna be sleeping in the dirt, no one's gonna take that position up.
I
You
mean,
can, or you can have barrels in the pantry.
Because I was like, if
they'll
there
just-
needs to be someone down in the basement, I was like, Jerry could potentially do that. He's not comfortable in the dirt, but he's used to like fishing like out in the river both by. So he's used to like being in the dirt waiting for a long time. So I was thinking like Jerry probably the most used to that.
the problem.
Or the other option was hiding in a basket in the one supply room that has the baskets and bins and stuff that are empty and not in use right now.
Yeah, the problem I'm worried about is like, didn't they say that like in order to leave the room that leads down to the basement, you have to go up past where the first night watch guard is. So like, how do they get out? So like if
Like
we're
if you look at the tree diagram, let's see if I can ping. How do I ping? So this, how do I?
left
oh,
mouse button
I think you
down.
just hold it down and
Okay, so this. I'm not doing it. Okay, that is where the mouse guard is.
Yeah.
okay.
And then there's this room right here, which is where the supplies are. You would have to come down a flight of stairs from the mouse guard. So, like, this door, say right here, leads to a flight of stairs that goes down towards the entrance to the tree as well as towards this supply room where they keep empty barrels, baskets, jars, nutshells for whatever it needs to be used for. So they would have to come through this door, which leads down to the tunnels, and then go through a door over here to get out, and then they can't go up because they would be seen by the guard right here. So their only option would be to come out the front door right here.
Okay.
So they would have to come up through the little room on the right and go out the tree. They cannot go up the stairs. Otherwise, the night guards would have been seeing the food walk right by them every night.
Well then, maybe I could hide behind this nice flower.
You probably could.
And I could, I don't know, I might be asleep, but I could try. And and you guys could take watches in barrels so that you make sure somebody isn't asleep.
Hmm.
Be a
We
shot.
would probably want to be in the back room because that's where the dandelion wine and the fine stuff is kept. Or you could be in the main room and that's where you would see them, but when they ping the light, it would go black.
Yeah, and I
So
apologize.
you may or may not see them from that room. You may need to be in the back room.
How I'm pinging might be wrong because I've had this mental
There's
conception.
this little door here where the fine stuff is kept, and that door is typically locked.
Okay.
This room right here is where the trapdoor is and where the lamp is that keeps getting hit with the cherry pit, from what you can guess.
Okay, so
And there's a basket of cherry pits down below it, which is why no one noticed.
Okay, I think I had it backwards. I was thinking of this room being that. So, but it's fine. Look,
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I have this mental. The bottom line being, my mouse knows more than I do because they could see it. I'm thinking like one of us could cover the exit, and two of us could take alternating shifts through the night in the barrels. Sorry, I you know what I mean. Where they would have to come through to get to
Basically,
the
they have
basement.
to walk by you.
Yeah. Get to the basement. Yeah.
Well, who do we put where then? I, for my part, said Poppy, would prefer to be inside. I don't know. Being attacked by an owl once, I don't want to sleep outside more than I have to.
I hate to ask this, Jerry, but stay outside, actually?
Yeah, sure, I could do that.
Thank you, Jerry. I'll give you half of the next meal that I get from Miss Blossom.
Payment enough already as it is. I'll accept that.
Yeah, Pearl has a power of 4. She is not a super brave man.
Well, Pearl, where do you think we should hide? Should we split up? And one hide in the basket room and one in the pantry? Or should we both hide in the same room?
We should both hide in the same room and alternate watches so that one person is definitely awake and the other person gets to rest.
That makes sense. We could time it by when the guards change. When we hear the 3 knocks and the guards change.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get into position. Inside there are barrels, and the guard helps dump some fluffy biscuits on Pearl and Poppy's heads. Just enough to cover them, but with enough space as you can still breathe, and you can see through the cracks in the barrel. And Jerry, where are you hiding? Are you outside?
Let me see. Honestly, it's probably for the flowers that Pearl was originally going to, because the coat for my mouse actually has white fur and it says it's white banded, so you could probably blend in better in the flowers or in the foliage and basically just try to camp out there and see if anybody's going through the front door.
Okay. So you're able to squiggle in there, and there's big leaves, so kind of acts as a shield to completely hide the lower half of your body, and your little head sticks out, and you kind of look like a flower.
Just like fishing, just like at the old house.
Okay. So you wait the first half of the night, and it's very, very, very boring. Jerry finds himself kind of nodding a little bit and waking up. Here's a few sounds that he doesn't know what they are, but thank goodness for the flower disguise, because he's pretty sure nothing can see him right now. And the door's just right there. Meanwhile, Poppy is desperately trying to stay awake, as is Pearl. They underestimated how nice and warm the room was, and the best thing that's helping is the fact that the barrels are incredibly uncomfortable and they can't stretch out their legs. So that's kind of keeping them awake. The warmth is not helping, and the biscuits smell amazing, and Poppy may or may not have already eaten one. The second half of the night, all of a sudden, where Pearl and Poppy are, after you've heard the guard change, you hear a clink noise, and it looks like the other room just went dark. So you're kind of holding still and holding your breath, and peering through, you can't see very well, but you think you see brown fur. And you hear almost nothing as 2 bottles of wine are lifted off the shelf by strangely reddish colored paws. And then brown fur disappears. You hear a guard come in the room, and all of a sudden there's another clink. And the light in your room goes completely black. And by the time the guard turns it on, the mouse with the brown fur is gone. At this point, the guard runs up and he's tapping on the barrels where you're hiding. Do you see? Do you see? I didn't see anybody. Where did it go?
Yes, I think we did see. Like, my paw's numb. Ow.
Poppy pops up and she's got a biscuit stuffed in her mouth. Second one of the night. I'm sorry, the guard says. I didn't catch that.
We should go out and try to intercept the exit to the tree.
Oh, if he's not out of the basement yet, then if he sees us standing there, he might try to hide or find some other way to get out.
Are there ways out?
The guard looks at her, shakes his head. No, he'd have to come out either through the pantry. No way getting by both of us, because he can't get out the front door without the guard seeing him. Or he'd have to come out of the basket room down there.
Come on, Poppy, let's go to the... Oh, go ahead.
He'd have to go outside or up by the guard.
Okay, let's... Poppy, you're pretty big and tough. Why don't you... no. Come on, let's go to the basket room. I mean, you know, wherever it goes into the basement. Oh, yeah.
Scurry down the stairs, and as you're coming up to the passageway at the bottom of the stairs that has the basket room, you catch a shadow and hear a click of a door shutting, and when you enter the room, there's nobody there. So you've entered the main foyer right in front of the front door with the basket room off to the right side.
Okay.
And you saw a shadow as you were coming down the stairs, and then the door clicked.
And
so you're guessing whoever it is went out.
Went outside. Okay. Let's go outside.
Okay. Meanwhile, we're heading outside. I'm going to describe what Jerry sees. Jerry sees a mouse with brown fur, except strangely enough, it almost kind of looks like it's got speckled darker spots mixed in. And he comes out with a pack and scurries over to someone in the shadows and passes off the bag. And then he starts heading back towards the house.
Do I see where the shadow scurries off to, or...?
He goes to the, like, if you're looking at the front door, like, if you were a mouse standing at the front door facing outside, he went to the left. So, east-ish. And you didn't really catch the other mouse because it was really dark and he just seemed to kind of blend into the shadows. Chances are he did not have light-colored fur, because otherwise you're pretty sure you would have noticed his outline better.
Alright. So for what I can see is there was a brown speckled mouse came out with food, handed off to someone in the shadows, and they left basically towards the east, away from the tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
As much as Jerry was tempted to go ahead and just throw the net at them, again, still probably better to try to figure out like how this whole system works if they try to talk to other people. So Jerry will still lie in wait and just wait to see where the mouse with the brown fur. Once I figure out that the one in the shadow goes east, I'll try to see where the mouse with the brown fur goes off to.
He kind of looks around to see if there's anyone around, and then he heads back in through the door. Or goes to head back in through the door, at which point Pearl and Poppy come barreling out of the front door because we're sure he's running away and did not expect to come nose to nose with him right there.
Yeah, if I see a mouse, I'm just like, oh, excuse us. Lovely night, isn't it?
I guess. I'm tired.
Oh.
And he tries to push past you to go back inside.
I'm sorry. Have a good night. I mean, we know what he looks like now, so like, let's go out and talk to Jerry.
And Jerry will just go and peek his head out of the bush and says, "Oh, Pearl, Poppy, I've seen where they're handing off the food to. I didn't see who they handed off the food, but I know the direction where they're going.
Let's go."
All right, let's go ahead and let's do it. Let's just go try to track this. Well, there's probably no owl close to this tree, but do you think there's owl further outside? Or, well, actually, if they're... Do you want to risk it? Maybe?
Hate to say it, but...
keep watch at night, but maybe with all these trees around, as long as we make sure we stay under the trees. Maybe he can't see us from his perch up on Bannock Hill. Or in Dimwood.
I think we have to figure out where this is going.
Because if they're able to go out in the middle of the night and be able to travel back and forth, then we should be able to follow that path and see if where the leads to. It should be safe as well.
So you guys follow where you think you saw him go, and you notice here the road kind of forks. Both routes, which it's hard to tell in the dark, but you think they both look familiar. One goes due east, and the other one kind of curves off to... Let's see, which way would it be? One kind of curves off to the northeast.
I think I gotta head off soon. 30. So.
Oh yeah, I just noticed.
Just the last observation I'll be able to make is, if he's heading where I think he's heading, then he's probably heading towards the creek.
He might be heading towards the creek.
Oh, it's a rat, probably.
Did we follow him? I remember them mentioning things. Should we go, or?
I think we have to. And Pearl is just like shaking. It's awful.
Why did it have to be that way?
Hey, at least it's not an owl.
Poppy kind of gives Jerry a look. All right, north it is. Did you say you have to head out soon, Russ? Okay. Well, we could stop here if you want, and then just pick up here next week.